Thank you so much, Upsider, for joining us on this magnificent MSC cruise. My name is Tebucho Lekuleni, and standing by is the wonderful Matseko Mosito, who will be crossing over to here and there just to keep her updated on what is happening at sea. But let's talk about important conversations, and that is about property. When is the right time to buy? Because homeowners looking to sell don't always have the luxury of waiting. But for those who do, timing can significantly influence the final price. Knowing when to enter the market, when to pause, and how to position a property can shape buyer interest and negotiation power. Buyers, too, can benefit from a well-timed approach, especially those with flexibility. With property markets moving in circles, influenced by seasons, economic conditions, and local demand, understanding when to act can give both buyers and sellers a meaningful edge. To help us unpack how timing really works in property decisions, we are joined on the line by Gavin Mkhabela, financial advisor, property investment strategist, and author. Gavin, thank you so much for your time. How are you doing on this fine Monday?
I'm good, but as good as you, since you are on the MSC cruise. I wish I was there. But compliments of the new year, so hope you're good, man.
Compliments of the new year to you too. You know what? Next time, Gavin, I'm taking you with me. Let's talk about timing in the property space. Does timing really matter, or is it one of those overrated statements that we throw around?
In a sense, it does, eh? In a sense, it does. Like, I mean, if you look at now, we are actually in a buyer's market. So meaning that, sellers are really under pressure, especially from a pricing perspective. So what is happening is that you now have, buyers that now have a lot of room to negotiate, which now makes it much difficult for the seller to get maybe the right price or even the price that they initially thought they will get. So that really makes it a bit of a challenge currently. And some obviously sellers, you'll find that they are so reluctant to lower their prices, which means that the property stays in the market for the longest of time. So yeah, it does matter in some point, but also it just depends on which side of the coin where you are in, basically.
And Gavin, I want us to touch on new buyers, youngsters getting into the market, buying their first property. And because you did say it's a buyer's market now, is it also ideal for them to enter the market? Because for a long time, we've seen that there are barriers to entry when it comes to young people and home ownership. But let's park it there. We're going to take a quick breather. It's 20 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time, and we'll get an answer from Gavin Mkhabela, financial advisor, property investment strategist, and author, helping us understand the importance of timing in the property space. Don't go anywhere.
Let's just do it.
Your life just got easier. Get the Channel Africa app and take us wherever you go. Catch the latest news, enjoy your favorite shows, stream the music you love, and stay connected to the continent. All in one spot, right in your pocket. Simple, quick, and always with you. The Channel Africa app. Download it now on iOS and Android. We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the upside.
Well, it's 20 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. We are still in conversation with Gavin Mkhabela, financial advisor, property investment strategist, and author, and just unpacking the importance of timing when it comes to property decisions. Gavin, are there specific seasons that typically favor sellers, and are there seasons that specifically favor buyers?
Yeah, so normally what you will see is that I think from a buying perspective, I normally say that the best time to buy was yesterday. So as long as you can afford to buy the property, I think most of the time the issue then just becomes on the negotiation aspect of things, how to, scout for the property, because a lot of people, they don't have that knowledge. They don't know that I need to check what my market price is in a certain area. And then I can also check in terms of how long the property has been in the market. When I go and view, what are the things that I can check out and use that as a leverage when I now negotiate. So there are many things, I think, from a buyer side of it in terms of advantage that they can have. Whereas from the seller side is normally, obviously, typically we would say when the interest rates goes down, that's where you'll find a lot of movement in terms of people wanting to buy. But it's no longer the case, in that sense, because you'll find that the problem is that we are now have so many challenges that we're facing as the economy. And what now is happening is that with this huge knowledge that we now have in terms from an access point of view, now we have a lot of now buyers that know what to do. So it's not like before where we didn't know that we can check you can use Lightstone, you can use agents to do that. Now you can even use ChatGPT to then do a comparison. So all of those things then becomes very, 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 very difficult. But what I can say in terms from a seller perspective, we also need to be mindful as well in terms of the area. Remember, the area is very, very key. So, for example, if we talk about Cape Town, from an appreciation perspective, it's great. The demand keeps going higher and higher. But there are some areas that, are very flat in terms of the demand. And what else is happening is that you have sellers that overcapitalize their properties. So you have fixed it up, it's like a car. When you're now putting the sound and the rims and all those kind of things, and then of course, then you want to justify the selling price based on the things that you've done to the car or what you've done to the property, which then outsells you out of the market. So I come in as like, look, you have a solar system right now. We don't have issues with electricity. So for me, that makes no difference whether you put it there or not. And if now you're going to say, you spend 200K to do it, that's not my problem. I'm gonna buy what the market says it is. So those are some of the things that are very, very key for us to understand when we are now whether on the other side of the coin, being the buyer or the seller.
You mentioned that at this time of the year, it's a buyer's market at the moment. And I asked earlier if we are seeing more young people entering this property space, where previously they didn't have access to it. It seemed very difficult for a young person to buy property. Is that the case now still?
It still is, but I think the controversial aspect of it, we saw the data that actually says that more women are buying property than men. So I think maybe that's another discussion of why it happened. But I think it has become pretty much a bit difficult to enter the market. But I wouldn't say it's really, really difficult in that sense, because if you look at in terms of the salary scale, learnerships, people when they're starting jobs, it's not like before that, you'll find that maybe the salary bracket was very, very low in terms from an entry level point of view. But the issue now is that because looking at where you want to stay, the property prices has really, really, they're a bit steep. Even your typical township property these days, it's very difficult to find, let's say, maybe a 500,000 property. So if now you want to go to 500,000, it means that you must go to an ITV kind of property, So I think it's now in terms of where you are buying, what the entry is in terms of getting into that space. But I think as well as we also see, and it's very visible that, the job market is under pressure. There's a lot of retrenchments going on. I think I have met 5 people that has been retrenched just yesterday alone. So that in itself is becoming a big problem, because again, when the companies are downsizing, they're shutting down, they also squeeze the salary aspect of things. So it's a matter of, look, we have to cut maybe salaries. If you want it, take it or leave it, basically. So that kind of, I think those kind of challenges that we are facing currently are making it difficult for people to really get into buying property for the first time.
Again, going back to our conversation, which is timing, are homeowners getting it wrong, buyers, sellers? What are the common mistakes that they are making in trying to get the right timing in buying or selling a property?
I think most of it, I would say that it's the desperation aspect of things is also a key element factor. I think people also leave, especially if I'm talking from a seller side, you leave it to the last minute. And I'm going to touch on just a little bit on the, distressed sellers, where you find that you are in trouble, you want to sell because maybe you've lost your job, you've got been retrenched. So people wait until the last minute to then want to say, I want to sell. And by the time that you're desperate to do that, then you find that your municipal account is behind. The levy account is behind. So now what you're going to get versus what the market is willing to then give you at that particular time, you'll find that you're breaking even if you're lucky, even then making a loss. So those are the things that we need to be very careful about, to say, look, where am I in terms of my finances at this moment? And am I still okay? And then, make sure that you keep up. If you see that you're already in trouble, please fix that. And then even maybe call maybe people like us to then maybe do evaluation, just to give you insights in terms of what the market is looking like in case you have a problem. And then, of course, from a buyer side, I would say that do a pre-approval as soon as possible, so that you see exactly where you're standing. Because, opportunities come anytime. You might be talking to somebody at the lift, and then they might be like, look, I'm under pressure, I'm leaving, I'm going overseas, I'm selling my property. So if already you know where you stand from a pre-approval perspective, it's easier than to then fast forward that kind of process. But also, when you're buying for the first time, understand, if you're buying into a new development, at times there is no cost in terms of transfer cost, but if you're buying from me, there's transfer cost. So when you have a pre-approval, you can even know that you might get 100% plus the cost of the attorneys as well, which is very, very important.
Gavin, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you to give us a quick elevator pitch of all that you do, because I mentioned earlier that you're a financial advisor, property investment strategist, and author. You are clearly the right guy that we need to get in touch with when it comes to getting into the right time to buy or sell. So if you don't mind just telling our lovely listeners what it is that you do.
So let me say, I run an agency. It's called Gavin International. So we're mixing property and financial planning together. So that is why I talk like this. So I talk from a financial planning point of view, and I also talk from a property investment point of view. So why is that very key? Because a lot of the times you have a financial planner, and then you have a property strategist on the one side. So these people, at times, they don't talk to each other. So whereas we have everybody under one umbrella, so we can talk property, we can talk retirement annuity, we can talk your investments, everything else. It's one that we even have property coaches, we even have debt counselors in the room, we even have psychologists as well. So we are the right people to talk to if you want to anything around it. We can be able to assist.
I love it. And just a reminder again of the website where we can reach you.
They can go to www.gavsure.co.za. So Gavsure is GAVSURE.co.za. They can get us there. They can call us, send us a WhatsApp on 074 412 7614, 074 412 7614, or just catch us on our social media platforms. I'll say Gavin Mkhabela, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, I'm always active on that, or just go Google Gavsure International and you'll find us there as well.
That's how you know you've made it, when you can go Google me. Gavin, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. You are Googleable indeed. Gavin Mkhabela, financial advisor, property investment strategist, and author, talking to us about timing and how important it is when it comes to buying or selling your property.